To welcome you to August 17th Town Board meeting. I ask you please stand for the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Joe Conti, Third Ward.
Joe Lepore, Fifth Ward.
Ann Schurshin, Sixth Ward.
Jay Baisley, Deputy Supervisor.
Alicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Adrian O'Dearna for Attorney for the Town.
And tonight's agenda, we have two public hearings to start with. Our first public hearing is a zoning amendment to 1 Dutchess Avenue. We have a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody here to discuss the first? Gentlemen.
Good evening, members. My name is Luke Kaufman. I'm here with the owner-developer of the O'Neill Dutton Group.
Michael McCormick, Liska McCormick, Van Voris. Good evening.
Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, gentlemen.
You guys.
So I just have a few words for those of you that were not here for previous presentations. I'll stick to my notes because, like some of our presidential candidates, I usually get in trouble when I go off topic. But to be short, this was a brownfield, and it was vacant. It had been previously used as a lumber yard and then a pressure treatment lumber plant where they used arsenic and chromium and things that then got into the ground and contaminated the site. We had a full inspection of it. We're approved for a remediation plan by DEC, and we have completed the development portion of the property, and that is now clean to the specs of the DEC, and we have what they call a certificate of completion for that under the Brownfields program. I could give you the history of that, but the bottom line is it's clean now, so that's a good thing. We then proceeded to the approval process for a site plan. During the secret process, the city council was designated the lead agency. Most of the two-thirds of the land is within the city, and the town acquiesced to having them as the lead agency. They went through the process and ultimately approved, for seeker purposes, had a finding that there was permissible 384 units. With parking and all of the necessary engineering for that. Over the course of the next year, so that was in 2012, and over the course of the next year we met with a variety of members of both the city and the town, Neil Wilson and John Weissman from the town, to further drill down on some of the aspects of the site plan so that it was more acceptable to both municipalities. We arrived at basically the plan that you see in front of you now. The city, having the larger portion of the land and having access, the primary access off of Dutchess Avenue, they stepped up and we pursued their approval so that we would know ultimately how we could get into the town and how it would lay out. So we presented this plan, but that is what the city approved, and this portion was the town approval. We sat with members of the town to create a zoning ordinance, Waterfront Housing Overlay District, which essentially we would comply with. Mr. Wilson wrote up the ordinance. The town reviewed the ordinance, sent it over to the planning board. Planning board recommended that they accept the ordinance. The ordinance even states that O'Neill Dutton property, the old Dutton plant. So here we are, having gone through multiple reviews, having the consultants from the town and then the planning board for the town look at the site plan. The planning board has recommended that this is in fact worthy of a rezone, and we are here for your acceptance of that. I'm going to turn this over now to Mr. McCormick, who is our architect and is designing the buildings, and allow him to give you some of the details of the site plan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And I'm going to try to stick on script as well. I'm going to try. But in any case, the project has, as Lou has explained, gone a long way. And it's taken a life of its own over several years, and it's coming to a culmination. The biggest issue or the biggest concern or hurdle that I saw with the project was the first step was the acceptance and the approval by the City of Poughkeepsie, which has been given. It's in hand. There's a signed map to that effect for the 300 out of 384 units of housing for the site itself. The site is a reclaimed site, as Lou explained. It's a great location. It's going to be a star in the Hudson Valley for a place to live, and it's really, I think it's probably the best start to a TOD, transit-oriented design element for the train station itself in the Poughkeepsie area. So, and with regard to a 5-minute walk to the train station, this is a very desirable site. So right now, as Lou alluded to, we do have the site plan approved in the City of Poughkeepsie. We're coming back to you in the town. The overlay zone, the WHOD, is certainly in the town board's hands to apply and to shape over this zone itself. We have met the requirements and parameters that were set forward that were given to us by the WHOD. So the property itself does meet the standards of that. We actually exceed that in a couple places. We do have a greenway trail, which is a really nice amenity along the shoreline. Want to show that, Lou? That greenway trail runs the length of the property north to south. It goes on the northern portion, which is adjacent to the boathouse, HORA, and goes along from the north all the way to the south, goes through the town of Poughkeepsie property area, and then into the city of Poughkeepsie. So it's a very long esplanade along the river, and it's really quite a nice amenity for the residents of not only the property itself, but for the residents of the city and towns of Poughkeepsie. It's really a walking path. That's what it really is. It's really a walking park. It's a passive park itself. It's really a great amenity, and it's part of the Greenway Trail thoughts when the Greenway compact was put together a long time ago. When you look at the spaces,
Point out to you, within the town portion is there's the trail itself, and which will connect with the southern half, which is in the city portion, and these are stones that are the armoring for the shoreline. It's riprap, so it's a natural armoring. Excuse me. We are putting some plantings to further anchor the shoreline, and then the other amenity that would be is landscaping. There's really that's what the plan within the town encompasses.
right. The buildings themselves are townhouse-style elements. We have 168 reserved parking spaces for them. By the WHOD, we need 1.5 per bed, and then or per unit. We have 2.3, so we actually exceed that a little bit in terms of the number of parking spaces that we're giving to the property in terms of the town elements. Right now, I know that the thought was that there may be a lack of parking, but we think we exceed that. The type of people that we're going to attract here are residents that will be looking at either downsizing and probably snowbirds, that sort of thing, or people that are coming in from the city, and hopefully that'll occur. That will actually attract to this neighborhood from the city of New York coming up the train. and actually, which is a great thing. So overall, we have a really nice plan. The property is remediated. It's in very fine shape from that point of view. The developers have put a large amount of money into the property proper to reclaim the site from a brownfield site, and they're at the point where they really, really need to move this forward. The time is right. We have in hand the approvals in the city, so the town is very critical to the success of this project, and we meet the parameters set forth by the town for an overlay district, and we want to move forward, and hopefully we get your guidance, your help, and your assistance in this. And we look forward to hearing from yourselves, of course, and the public with regard to input. Questions?
Anything else, Mr. McCormick?
I think I'm very good, interim
Any
supervisor.
questions to Mr. McCormick at this point?
No.
Neil, do you have anything to add to this? Nope. Make a motion, we adjourn this public hearing to, Adrian, do you have a?
The 19th of October?
The 19th, Mr. Safone is not available, and it is in his ward, and he's going through a job transition, so we moved it to that date so he can be here available to address the issues that he also had, and hopefully we'll make a decision on that night.
October 19th?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
I want to make mention, I did receive some comments
Oh.
on it for the public hearing, and I have
Do you have a
them
copy of the
I do.
comments from
19.
Doreen?
from Doreen Tigmanelli, and I have them in my packet.
We got him here too, yeah.
Yeah, please put them in the minutes. Her concern, she can be here tonight.
And we can get copies of those, I would think.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Wow, that's efficient. Now I know why you're getting the four-year term.
Best.
There's no red tape here.
All right.
It's public hearing number 1. You're all set, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our second public hearing is to amend the office of the town clerk from a 2-year term to a 4-year term. Can I make a motion to suspend the rules for that one?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody have any comment on that? Mr. Salvatore? You don't want to comment? No? No?
I'd like to make a comment if that's okay.
Go right ahead, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that the idea behind it for me is the fact that I think it's fiscally responsible to change it to a 4-year term from a 2-year term. There's roughly about 20 towns in Dutchess County. 15 are already a 4-year term. There's 4 with a 2-year term and 2 that are looking Poughkeepsie and Amina into being a 4-year term. And Rhinebeck is appointed. I think he just took our
No, that's his.
oh, this is, okay, just, sorry about that. And, you know, the highway superintendent is a 4-year term, and so is the tax receiver. It just makes sense. And of course, this has to be approved by the voters.
Yes.
By you approving this, local law does really nothing except for give it a chance to pass or not pass. And I think it's appropriate to put it on at this time because it doesn't really affect me as a person. It's just the office of the town clerk. So it doesn't go in effect until January of 2018. So whomever's running for that position at that time would start the 4-year term.
It gives you a whole year to decide, gives the voters
I wanna-
to decide.
So I guess you're the one that initiated, you know?
Well, I think, you know, I've been thinking about it for a while and talked to Jay about it.
That's a good idea.
It's been an on-off discussion for, I'd say,
For
a
a
couple
year.
of years now.
Years.
And the fact that we're bringing it up now, the voters get to vote on it this year. It's not like somebody running next year would have to, they're not sure if it's a 2 or 4-year term. Whoever runs next year, if it passes, if the voters vote on it this year, it would start the following year. So whoever.
Quite a bit of towns actually that do have changed even the board to a 4-year term. I just got a lot of emails this past week, actually, around budget time. All of the town clerks contact each other about different things, and a lot of them were asking about whether our supervisor was a 4-year term, because I'm not sure which town was looking into it, but it's just, you know, something, it's just more cost effective, truthfully,
Oh, yeah.
especially for my office since I don't vote on anything.
It's a little more job security for somebody who wants the spot
And it's,
4
you
years.
know, a lot to learn in 2 years.
Yeah, it goes fast.
I've been here a long time and I still learn every
Me too.
day.
Every 2 years you're out there campaigning, you put a lot of time into that, and again, you're trying to focus on your full-time job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally get it too, and I think that's why we're, you know, even
I
supporting
just think
reading.
for the office itself, for years to come, I think it makes a lot of sense for whomever's doing the job to have a 4-year term.
Any other comments on that? We have a motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sir.
You want to read it?
Yep.
I'm reading the amended one, right?
You don't have to read that portion, that's the attachment.
Just the resolution.
Just the resolution? Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie pursuant to a public hearing held on the 17th day of August, 2016, at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overrocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, at 7 p.m., that the Town Board does adopt the annexed local law, which provides for a 4-year term for the elective office of Town Clerk, Town of Poughkeepsie. Such 4-year term to commence on January 1st, 2018, which next local law was as adopted is subject to voter approval on November 8th, 2016, and will become effective immediately upon filing in the office of the Secretary of State after approval by a majority of the electors voting thereon in accordance with the requirements of Section 27 of the Municipal Home Rule Law. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of the public hearing was posted on August 4th, 2016, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on August 6, 2016, and be it further enacted that the town clerk of the town of Poughkeepsie shall file a certified copy of this local law in the office of the town clerk and 3 certified copies in the office of the Secretary of State of the State of New York, each such certified copy to have attached thereto any required certificate executed by the attorney to the town of Poughkeepsie that it contains the correct text and that all the proper proceedings have been had or taken for the enactment of this local law. Once the approval of the qualified voters has been obtained at the general election on November 8th, 2016, and be it further enacted that the adoption of this local law is a type 2 action requiring no secret review. The foregoing resolution was voted upon by all board members as follows. So moved.
Second.
Any more questions on the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I just want to add the correction on the amendment was just a question mark, so it wasn't really a big change.
There was also the insertion of the town of Poughkeepsie.
Oh, yes, correct, sorry about that, Adrian.
This amended one.
Forgot about that one.
Our third public hearing is on crosswalks in the Vacaville School District, Hagan Drive, and Schoolhouse Lane. Motion to suspend the rules for this one?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody any questions, concern, or address this public hearing? No? If nobody addresses it, I make a motion to close this public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Be it enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie pursuant to public hearing held on the 17th day of August, 2016, at 7:00 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overrocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend Town Code, Chapter 195, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, specifically Section 19547, Schedule 12, entitled Crosswalks, which amendment would read as follows. Add Section 19547, Schedule 12. The name of the street is Hagan Drive. Its location is at the intersection with Spackenkill Road, and the other name of the street is Schoolhouse Lane. The location of that is at intersection with Croft Road. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on August 4th, 2016, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on August 6th, 2016. And be it further enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby determine that this action is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. And be it further enacted that said local law shall become effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any more questions this one? Joe?
I just got lots of good comments for this, and it's a long coming, and everybody's happy with it.
Yeah, this was to address an issue with Spackenkill School. The students after school were walking from the high school to the junior high on a daily basis, and we're just trying to make it a little bit safer. We've addressed a few issues, and we're working with the school board to move forward. Joe's been meeting with Mark and Gary Hulbert, Sergeant Hulbert, on this, and this is just the beginning of hopefully to just make the trip that they're walking back and forth a little safer.
Yeah, and Sergeant Albert did a great job because it seems that in that area, it seems to be more young family moved in, and there's more kids going to school from there. So I think it's a good thing. Hopefully,
I think it was a good team effort with Spackenkill.
yeah, that was good. Yep. I wish everything was like that.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. That's the end of our public hearings for tonight. We have a rather small agenda. Number 4 is emergency Fairview pump station meter. They had a meter that failed, and it's the meter, if the other meter fails, we have no way to register water between the town and the city to know what we're using. So Keith needs to get this done right away. The next one's Friendly Honda, some stormwater documents. Number 6 is to authorize the sale of the White House down here in the corner by Town Hall. Appoint Taryn Riley, Comptroller's Office, part-time. Appoint Brian Powers, alternate planning board member. Tax certs for all the tax certs in the town. There's a list of about 35 of them that come in this time of year. Number 7, notice of petitions for review of tax assessments, small claims. And 2 special consents to approve permanent appointment of Jessica Boscone. She works in the Comptroller's Office. She's passed her test. And SC2 is Crunch Fitness, wants to have a run through Southgate Drive. Do you have any questions on any items on the town board agenda? If not, Mr. Lepore.
Thank you, sir. Oh, okay. Resolution number 4, whereas Water Superintendent Ballard advised that there are 2 ultrasonic flow meters at the Fairview pump station and that their proper operation is critical to the town's ability to monitor to output from the station. And it has further advised that one of the meters requires significant repairs, cannot be recalibrated as inoperable and must be replaced. And whereas Armani Engineering has solicited competitive quotations for the meeting equipment which is required. And whereas the Deputy Supervisor has determined that the absence of the second functioning meter continues an emergency situation and has authorized Armani Engineering Corporation to proceed with the replacement of both meters at an estimated cost of $12,940. And whereas the maintenance and repair equipment is exempt from the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie, finds that it will not be the best interest of the town to seek bids or RFPs, and occurs with and verifies Deputy Supervisor's determination that this is an emergency situation and has authorization of retention of Armani Engineering Corporation. Hopefully, no relation to the Armani clothing. So moved.
Second.
You got a motion second. Any questions on this one?
Keith, this says estimated cost of $12,940, that's for both of them, or is it?
An installation.
Okay, gotcha.
If there's a problem, why are we doing both if one has got a problem?
Because they don't make those things, they're obsolete.
So they don't make it anymore.
They do not make them anymore.
The older style,
We
we're
hear that a
replacing with
lot.
newer ones, right?
Keith, you want to
There
come
are a
up?
lot in the town about the things we have.
Do you want to come up, Keith, and speak?
Or no, are you
But we're
done? You
probably
with
done
your
there.
questions?
No, we're-
I think we're done.
Yeah, it's Keith that brought up, they're outdated. He's found out that the ones that were put in were sort of outdated when they put them in, so they've been old, and they came to calibrate the one, they couldn't calibrate it. When they calibrated it, it broke, so that gave us one down, and the other one could be in the same position,
Yeah,
so
generally, yeah.
that's the only thing that we justify our water sales with the city of Poughkeepsie, Mr. Carlos.
We changed
keep-
the meters back in 2006. It saved the town $250,000 a year. The old meters were inaccurate.
Okay.
We got a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the drainage easement and stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance easement and amended declaration of cross easements in regard to the project known as Friendly Honda Inventory Parking Lot, and be further resolved the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the Deputy Supervisor to sign the stormwater management facility inspection and management agreement and any supporting recording documents in regard to Friendly Honda Inventory Parking Lot project in substantially the form attached, and be further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is subject to approval of all final documents by the Town Attorney, Planning Board Attorney, Town Engineer, and the Director of Municipal Development for the Town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Number 6, whereas the town of Poughkeepsie owns a parcel of land with a building on it, the White House, located at 1 Over Rocker Road, and whereas the White House is in need of repair and has not been used for town purposes for several years, and whereas the town board has consulted with a real estate appraiser regarding the value of the White House property, now therefore is resolved that the White House and property is declared to be surplus property, Be it further resolved that the deputy supervisor is authorized to sign all papers necessary and proper to effectuate a transfer of title to said surplus property to Danielle DiCarlo for office use. The conveyance to be as is conditioned for cash consideration of $180,000, with the town providing a shared driveway easement for access to Over Rocker Road. Provided that the town's obligation under the contract shall be contingent upon the advertisement for and expiration of any required term for the filing of a permissive referendum without the filing of a referendum petition. Be it further resolved, the town board finds this is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second?
The motion and a second. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, I've spoken with our town historian, John Pinna, and he's also in favor of the sale of the house, that we really would like to see it be put back into use and also restored,
Did he
so.
get his picture out?
Pardon?
Did he get his picture?
No, he hasn't got his picture out, and we still gotta get Gene's typewriter out.
We'll get it.
But that's still on the list. But yeah, the house is from 1890. We were going through the deeds and seeing if we could find out a bit more of the history. It appears this was at one point Abel Adams' farm around here. So we think it was actually from there, but we weren't able to actually, pinpoint who actually built the house.
All right. The motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No. Motion passes 4-1. 7.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the appointment of Taryn Riley to the position of permanent part-time payroll clerk at the salary of $22 per hour for a maximum of 24 hours a week, which appointment will be effective immediately and which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law. And be it resolved that the deputy supervisor or his designee is authorized to execute and file all documents required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with the appointment. So moved.
Second?
Motion is second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Brian Powers to the current vacant position of the town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board as an alternate for a 4-year term, which appointment expires on December 31st, 2019. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. And I think that these alternate spots are definitely a step in the right direction. They're not the appointment, which is from all the wards, but it's a team effort that when people are on vacation, it makes sure our boards are kept full.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9.
So what is Joe going to do with this? Just read through the names on? Maybe we should just do that to put it into
Into the record?
the record?
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
It's up to
That list will be typed in. I wouldn't say that I would have to put
And they have to
anybody
be
through.
published anyhow, so.
Number 9 is just
Why
a
don't we
list.
just
Okay,
accept
so
it?
9 is tax cert proceedings.
Please.
Go to 10.
Correct. And
10 is,
10 is also
10 is
tax
the same,
cert.
but small claims.
Yeah.
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 10's basically your homeowners, the other ones are.
But then we'll just go to SC1. Joe, SC1?
Or,
Number 11, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 11, yeah.
My apologies, yeah.
Okay, no, it's fine. Okay, number 11, be resolved that the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit. 1, approve permanent appointment Jessica Boscone, Controller Amberger. 2, approve Town Clerk Salvatore Crunch, 5K. And be further resolved that upon the objection, any member of the town board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any questions on these? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. That's SC items.
Okay, whereas Jessica Bascone has served as an accountant for the Comptroller's Office since December 1st, 2015, now therefore be it resolved that based on the notice from Dutchess County Department of Human Resources of her successful results on the civil service exam, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby confirm the appointment of Jessica Bascone as a permanent full-time accountant in the Comptroller's Office, subject to a probationary period of not less than 8, no more than 26 weeks per civil service law, commencing with the state of her civil service eligibility date of July 8th, 2016. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? Jessica's been an employee since December. She come up from Fishkill. She took the test and she was reachable, so we moved forward and hired her on as a permanent employee now.
Good.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby approve the application of Ashley Safaro of Crunch Fitness to hold Crunch 5 to benefit Anderson Center for Autism on Saturday, October 15, 2016, location of which run is from Crunch Fitness to Crown Heights. Be it further resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application for said annual run as submitted pending approval from the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department and the receipt of a certificate of liability insurance naming the Town of Poughkeepsie as additionally insured. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on that. Any questions on that one?
Are they gonna post some kind of flyers on through the neighborhood there? Because it's pretty heavy traffic.
Yeah, they have to notify the neighbors, don't they, Felicia?
I think that for a run, they haven't in the past. For a block party and such, they have people run on the roads normally. The police are waiting for them to give us something as far as running on the private property of the Red Lobster parking lot, because that's how they're going to get from Crunch to the actual neighborhood. And then there might be a little bit of police presence at an intersection or two.
Right.
But it's their very first run.
Yep. Well, it's a
They're
nice.
not really
nice
sure
call.
how many people are going to attend. They wanted to get it on, it's not until October 15th, but they wanted to get it on now because they want to know that it's approved before they spend the money to advertise. But it's their very first try at this. And they're from Crunch, and I talked to Ron about it. He said that they're from the gym and it'll probably go quick.
What time is the race starting?
Let me see.
It's also a low-impact area, you know, they're
Yeah,
just
they
running
didn't
across the
say
parking
what-
lot, they're not a 9, they're just going up to the
Not
back of the
a section for
neighborhood.
that, but
Probably an early morning run, I would assume.
yeah, that'll all be in the future. I can let you know what time exactly it'll start.
I believe it's the
Probably
Columbus,
morning run.
Columbus Day weekend.
My birthday's on the 9th, so I think it's actually after that, because the day after is Columbus Day, the
So
10th.
we'll fill you in as we get more information, Joe.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll get you some running shoes too, Joe, if you
Oh,
can.
no.
Oh,
I'll be at the finish line.
all right, that's the place to be.
We can all run.
So I guess out of this, maybe we'll just check to see if there's gonna be flyers put up
Yeah,
and,
we can ask them, they can put something on the corner.
Thank
just
you.
notify.
I know, I think it's a wonderful cause.
yes, I agree.
They're gonna try and do it every year, and they want to donate the money that they get to different causes each year.
Good.
So I have a better map if anybody wants to see it too. And the chief does live in that area somewhere. I have no idea where, but he'll be on top of it, I'm sure.
He said he was gonna run.
He said he was going to run. He's mad you just mentioned that.
Yeah. Do we have a motion on it? A second, we pass that.
We're just waiting for the approval.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We've come to our end of our nice short agenda tonight, which is great. Does anybody like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any comment from the public at all?
Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Would anybody like to say anything? Feel free. Step right up.
Good evening. My name is Jason Paganella. I live at 1 Oriole Drive, behind the Southgate Deli. The reason I'm here tonight is to speak about the Fort Family Cemetery that's behind the Southgate Deli. Just give you a little bit of information about it. The Fort Family Cemetery is behind the deli on Southgate Drive. The property is owned by, I believe, Mr. Stangler or Mr. Stanger, who was working on a failed project next to the Bonefish Grill on Route 9 South. The cemetery is a family cemetery that contains remains from the Fort family, who had a large family on that, a large farm on that property in the 1700s. And Mr. Fort was also a major in the Revolutionary War militia during 1778. The Fort family has also served Poughkeepsie as town assessors, amongst other public offices throughout many generations. Just to give you an idea, in 2004, the Girl Scouts came and restored that cemetery to a degree. And more recently, a group of some neighbors and myself have come to this town council to have it placed on, in support of having it placed on a historical landmark. I'm not sure exactly if it's registry, some sort
It
of
is already.
registry. Yes.
Yeah, it is already.
So we came, it was approved through here. I've had a lot of neighbors come to my home asking me there is a stone, a headstone, that is the entrance to the cemetery. And the headstone has fallen down the embankment and is currently laying on the side of the embankment. And a lot of the neighbors believe that I own the property since the cemetery butts up against it. They've obviously a lot of people that live in there have lived there a while, and they want to know why I can't get it fixed or why it's left there. So obviously I don't own the property. I just want to bring to the attention that it's unsightly and it is a disgrace to the Fort family and our area's history in general. Mr. Stangler said he did not care about the cemetery or my property that butts up against it when he was working on that project. He also did not make good on any of his promises to plant trees to suppress the noise from Route 9 when he was working on that project. And he also stated that he was going to put up a fence, not just a chain link fence, something that would stay and support the embankments and the privacy of the neighbors. The landowner, I feel, should at least maintain the property as far as putting the headstone back into place. As you know, we are losing history in this great area, and we need to preserve it for future generations, as well as for the respect of the Fort family in this area.
Yeah, first of all, I thought that was owned by Stephen Domberg.
I'm not 100%
I'm not sure of the person, because I did speak to Stephen about this property, and yeah, he's not willing. But I also spoke to another person, and I need to get your phone number again, because I know we've spoken to, that has restored another cemetery and was interested in working on this one. And I was going to give him another phone call, once the weather cools down, we can see what resources he used. And see, is because also speaking to Mr. Domberg, he has no problem with other people coming on the property and fixing it. He just is not willing to put any money into it himself.
Yeah, just to let you know, I believe it was last year when I took over the Fifth Ward, I contacted Stefan Krakauer because I was concerned about the safety of that tombstone and the way it's laying down. And he told me, just to get an idea. So I contacted Mark Pfeiffer, and he was nice enough to look at it and clean up a little bit. But I was told that we're not allowed to go on their property.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because it's a private property.
Private property.
I appreciate Jason. I spoke to him the other day, and I was concerned because I used to live that area, and I used to go by every day. So,
Where does that stone belong? There's a big platform up top.
Actually,
it was on
platform.
Yeah, well, what it is there was actually a stone wall built around the cemetery, and one of the sons put it's like a tombstone, but actually it's a stone stating who is buried there. Yeah. And it was to close up the opening in the wall to kind of keep people out. So you actually have to jump over the wall. And I don't know if it was pushed out. Sometimes I heard that there were kids playing. Well, kids goofy around there and they pushed out, or else it just in time gave up on its own and slid down the embankment.
and that's what happened, yeah.
Is it I'm not sure, I'm not seeing them, is it unattainable to get, or is it?
No, I don't think.
So just the private property is the issue?
Private property, and
Maybe could we get approval to go on that property from the
yeah, I
owner?
don't think there'd be any problem.
And then, like you sort of said, I was thinking, here, we get Mark Pfeiffer, he's always great about trying to do things for
yeah,
the town.
great.
Maybe if we got the approval.
The problem with that, Joe, is, and as Joe said when he talked to the town, he can't go on private property to do work.
Yep.
They had a cemetery in New Hamburg. They've redone the whole cemetery to residents. They've done it through just a group effort.
Yeah.
I think through a group effort, we could get somebody besides the highway superintendent to come in.
Yeah.
Get the stone back up on the hill. Because I saw it today. I wasn't sure if it was a stone or just a piece of the wall. I saw it there, I went by a little while ago. But how's the rest of the cemetery look? Is it in decent shape once you get up top, or is it still overgrown again?
It's overgrown, and some of the stones are broken and things like that. It's just that the longer the headstone stays there, it's eroding. All of that writing and inscription is eroding off of it. I'm sure it's face down, and it's just like I say, we have a great area, and it deserves to be put back where it's not a big deal. I'm sure it could be taken care of.
Yeah, and there was one of my concern too, as far as that, because it's a first impression area. It sits right on Route 9, and Route 9 looks nice now with, but as you make the turn at the light, you see this.
Well, actually, it's been to the cemetery's benefit that it's pre-hidden. That really you don't see it, so it's been to its benefit that it's actually been hidden and people don't see it, because there's not too many curious going through it. So.
Yes, I'm not seeking for it to be restored and people to get in there and cut all the trees away from it, just for the tomb, just for the actual headstone to be put back. That's all.
Yeah, I said, they did the one in
I have
Hamburg,
a-
it came out very nice. They did a nice job. The residents took control of it, and they got it okay. It was owned by a church. They've done a nice job. They actually redid some of the headstones. They cleaned up all the tree areas, so, the sun would come in now and it would have all the overgrowth on it. No, give me a call, in the next day or so, and we'll see if we can work with an outside organization. There's enough construction going on out there. Maybe we can get somebody to come over and help us, because they are a lot heavier than they look. I saw some of the machinery they used that they made to move some of the stones into Hamburg, just to pick them up. It's not as easy as it looks to move one of them. You just can't pick it up and dump it up there.
You just have to be careful, you don't want to disturb other tombstone too.
And I'm sure they're very fragile.
I have a constituent who is very active in the Dutch history from this area.
Oh,
And you remember a few weeks ago, the Fort House was on the agenda, it was removed. When that was on, I started asking questions, and I found out about that cemetery and its connection to the Fort House. This particular constituent is a history person and teaches at two of the universities around here, two of the colleges. And he's active in the Dutch area and said that there may be some, this is when we were talking about the house, some interest on the part of the people who run this society. Since the Dutch were here first, that house dates back to 1730?
we're saying mid-17, so we're saying 1750. The Ford House?
Yeah. So I will make that contact in a couple of days.
Good.
Okay, and I don't know if we have, we can't go on private property.
We can, you know what, we have enough contacts and volunteers to help us do other things.
Okay.
I mean, there's enough work on Route 9. It's not they may have better equipment if we find somebody that's willing to volunteer.
Well, can the building inspector go there? Can he, he's authorized to go on the properties, right?
Yeah, but you're not moving that on your own.
No, he's not moving, no, I'm just take a look and.
Oh, you can say, I mean, anybody can say it. I mean, I saw it today. I just happened to be driving up
Very
there. Yeah.
apparent.
Yeah, give me a call and we'll work on getting it addressed. There's enough people out there, we can probably get it somehow up there. It's not as easy as it looks because it's not a light stone. It's rather large.
Oh, fully understood.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have done it
Move it
or
yourself?
tried to get some
Yeah.
people to do it myself.
I'd say I'd come and help you, but I don't think that's gonna help.
Yeah, I have Jason's number as well. That's why I asked him to
Yeah.
come in and just.
I'll give you a card and you just give us a call and we'll work on getting something done.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, history is a big area, and I said, we're having a whole issue with a couple of the other buildings that are historical, and some of the developers have worked with to make sure they're kept what they are to the best. So we all understand where you're coming from.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate coming in and just explaining about that. So at least some of your neighbors will not knock on your door anymore.
Yes, there's a lot of history here, and we're losing it quickly everywhere, and it's being destroyed, and you can't bring it back once it's gone. So let's just do the right thing.
No problem, we'll work on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anybody else have anything to comment on? With nobody else, we have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good evening.
7:45 PM.
Thank you.